It's a very good question. Like, what in 2023, what is handmade? With all the technology that's available, what is handmade? How do you define it? My natural instinct is to say, okay, well, what's the technical definition? What does like Cambridge Dictionary define as handmade? Made by a person using just hands or tools, not by a machine. Or made by someone using their hands rather than by using a machine. It'd be important to then define what is a machine then? So let's stick with Cambridge Dictionary for consistency here. A machine is a piece of equipment with several moving parts that uses power to do a particular type of work. So then a machine is anything that has power. This is where you start running into trouble. And technically, you can't use a sewing machine. You can't use an electric clicker press. There's no Dremel tool. There's no electric edge creaser. There's nothing that has power. You can't use it because that's by definition a machine. So then anybody out there using any power to do their craft, it can't be defined as handmade. Well, that seems a little silly in 2023 to completely eliminate power. Like, where do you take it? So your computer, you can't use your computer to design plans? Can you print out those plans on paper? Where do you draw that line with machines and handmade? So going from there, that textbook definition, in my mind, isn't valid anymore to define handmade. You can't effectively use that definition. Because if you do, then nothing is truly handmade anymore. Because everyone uses a machine in some capacity because it's efficiency. You have to. It's 2023. You can't do everything manually because if you do, then you have to charge for your time, which means your products are going to be way too expensive for any reasonable person to afford if you use no assistance with modern technology. Maybe technology isn't the concern, or machine use isn't the concern with handmade, but instead it's the overall process. So what if instead handmade is, at its core, a handmade product is one that's created primarily by human hands, blending traditional techniques with modern technology that emphasize the craftsmanship, attention to detail, and individuality. That, I think, is a better definition. It's a little long-winded, but I think it's a better definition. You get the idea. It's a better definition than that technical one, because that definition starts encompassing more of the ethos of the brand, of the person, of the company that is making a handmade product. Their intention can be incorporated into that definition. So you can still use sewing machines. You can still use clicker presses to efficiently cut out all your pieces. But if the vast majority of that product is made by hand, I think it can still be considered handmade. So maybe handmade no longer relates to the technical process of how something's made, but instead it's the artisan's, the craftsman's intent behind that product. So if we're looking at an overall product, how much technology is allowed in the process of making that product for it to still be considered handmade? Is that a question we have to answer? Or does it even matter? If you take what I do, for example, and a lot of other small crafters who they're a one-person show. It's them, they do all the work. They built their website, they built the product, they designed the product, they make the product, they ship the product. Everything you see from me, this video included, is produced by me. I'm talking to the camera, I set up the camera, I edit the video, I post the video, I create the thumbnails. Everything you see, the entire website was built by me. Everything is done by me. I use technology to make it more efficient. I use a laser machine to help cut out parts, but primarily to also incorporate things that I couldn't do before, to do things that aren't possible without a laser machine. So are you going to look at my work and say that's not handmade because he uses a machine, because he uses a laser? Well, there's a lot of big crafters that use electric powered clicker presses. You press 2 buttons, it clicks down, that's a machine. That's no longer handmade by the traditional definition. I just made this wallet. Is it handmade? Yeah, yes it is. Without question it's handmade. Do you think it's handmade though? What is your criteria for something being handmade? Are you allowed to use any sort of machinery, technology in the process? Where do you draw the line with what is acceptable machinery and what's not? If you want to see what I'm doing on a daily basis, head over to Instagram, norfolk.handmade. And if you'd like to support me directly, you can purchase a product from my website, norfolkhandmade.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.